You guys didn't realize. Hey! Hey, everybody. I guess this is NFFB. We're going to keep saying that now because we're not doing Naruto chapters anymore. Because Naruto.
For now.
But anyway, yeah, we have another video in a quick second. Not that we're switching up the group or anything like that. Andy was here, but Andy's lame, as you guys all know. So
He can't hang.
yeah, you can't hang with the cool kids.
At 1:20 in the morning.
But yeah, Pat, Travell, Rachel, John, and Ricky. This is a new segment called Drunk Comics. If you don't get it from the title, I've been drinking.
From the title, you should probably.
Yeah, you should just pause the video and.
I'm kidding. Live life.
Sorry.
But yeah, so essentially this segment is about comic book or video game or nerd-related content that we debate about after being somewhat inebriated, adding to some comical enhancements.
Word is.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this week's episode is going to be about Batman-related content. We're talking about Terry Mcginnis from Batman Beyond versus all of the other Bat family. Not like in a battle royale, but kind of like a one-on-one who would win.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, basically, he's completely covered it. Basically, what we're going to do is go down the list of the Bat family, meaning the sidekicks. We're going to just deal with the main central characters that Batman completely deals with. Like, he basically deals with the sidekicks. Go down chronologically. First, Dick Grayson. Well, it doesn't even matter. You just the main people: Dick Grayson, Tim Drake.
Stop the video! Stop the video!
Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Red Hood, Damian Wayne.
Yeah, but we're doing
and
couple
Barbara
rules for the battle.
Right.
Terry Mcginnis has Batman in his ear.
Right.
I think that's necessary.
Yeah. Jason Todd.
Right.
Has
And
to
Jason
be.
Todd
Jason
is
Todd's
Red
going to be
Hood.
The reason why we're keeping Batman in the ear though is because he was not trained. He was not trained by Bruce Wayne. So he's, the rest of the sidekicks
He's
have
got a
been.
handicap.
The rest of them, basically, the rest of them were molded by it. By
it being
By
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Batman Beyond is, you should stop this video.
Yeah, just don't even watch this.
Don't watch this. Go
Watch
on
the
Netflix.
show.
Yeah.
Watch the show and then come back
And
in
watch
like a week or so after you finish it because Batman Beyond is the shit, bro.
Yeah.
A week or so.
Oh my goodness.
Alright. So,
Yeah.
who we starting over with?
I'd be down with, I
Jason.
think Jason
Jason
Todd.
Jason Todd right off the bat?
Yeah.
Jason Todd
Alright.
back. I think that would be okay. We can do that.
Well,
We're gonna do it.
Oh, no, you know what? Tim Drake. I feel like no
Tim
one showed
Drake.
any, no one showed any
Okay.
love to Tim
Tim
Drake.
Drake.
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake. Okay.
Tim Drake's a great character.
Tim Drake as Tim Drake?
So, Tim Drake losers. Okay, so
Red
next
Robin.
part, we're going to start with Jason.
We can go. Let's go to Red Robin. Let's go. Everybody get peaks. Red Robin.
Would that be his peak though?
I think this will
Yeah.
be the one and only time. This will be the one and only matchup where we have to ask the question: have the sidekicks been able to prepare for this fight,
Good question. Good question.
or is this drop in now we're fighting, or have they been able to prepare?
What?
Were they able to
Did they prepare for this fight, or are they?
No,
and
no.
this will be the only time
No
I ask
notice.
this question
This is
because
They
like-
ran into each other.
This
they
is
ran
like
into
they were
each other.
walking and they bumped into
Yeah.
each other, and he's like, "Yo, you stepped on my Nike."
And also the setting will be the setting also because it's very important. It's very important for Terry Mcginnis. The setting is going to be present Gotham City, not Gotham City in Terry McGinnis' time. Because in Gotham City in Terry McGinnis' time,
but he has
totally different
tech.
situation. He has home court advantage, so it's going to be straight up and time.
So does
Well, so does
Yeah,
the crew.
All
But
right.
it's the most linear because the thing is with the present day Gotham City has all type of supernatural entities. They have Solomon Grundy, you have Bane, you have Joker, you have all these like grounded hero villains, but also like people that have supernatural abilities. You know, like
Is
Future
Gotham's
is just-
infrastructure the same?
right.
Are the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Same.
it's not like
It doesn't
superistic
change much.
stuff. You know.
It's actually funny that you bring it up though, because like that monorail thing that they have now plays a big part in.
That's what I was
absolutely.
Yeah, but there are parts of the animated series where they use the subway system.
Yeah, but that's
but
It's
underground.
not
Like, it
as
needs to go
often.
down.
No,
Yeah.
it's above ground. I'm pretty sure about that.
I mean,
Subways?
Excuse me. No, there are trains that are above ground
Yeah, they're
in the
not
subway
called
system.
subways.
Yes, they are. In the New York City subway system, there are above ground subways.
This is a pointless argument. We're not here for this.
So I'm gonna run with Terry Mcginnis, strictly because we were kind of discussing this a tiny bit before. Tim Drake is probably the weakest of the Robins. Period.
In what way?
But he has the strongest mind.
He does, but physically.
Yeah.
He has the strongest mind. But if anybody were to, be able to give up.
He's the best detective.
Yeah. If anybody were to give him a run for his money, it would be Batman, who is now, let's just say, Terry Mcginnis now has the mind of Batman being in his head. Mm-hmm. Terry McGinnis always has Batman telling him, okay, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Well, that's going toe-to-toe, mind-to-mind.
It can be argued, though, that Tim Drake is a better detective than Batman.
But I think...
Oh, absolutely.
Again, like we talked about with Terry McGinnis' ingenuity, he constantly can just adapt to the situation, whereas Tim Drake can look at a crime scene or a situation and figure out what to do. But like in the actual moment, if he doesn't have time to analyze the actual situation and just naturally react to what's going on, he's kind of sharing.
See, that's the thing. I agree with that. But also, what I think is really important to bring to the table too, when it comes to Terry McGinnis is extremely resourceful. Anything around him, any type of car or piece of garbage or whatever the case may be, he'll use it to his avail in order to at least survive. Tim Drake doesn't have that survival instinct. I mean, he has his instinct, natural instinct, is to be a detective. So just that alone he's not gonna be able to handle a bare knuckle fisticuffs like fight. So I think that he's gonna have his ass kicked. He's not gonna be able to handle Terry McGinnis. Terry McGinnis from the jump is a scrapper. He's he came into the shit being a fighter. So I don't think he's got it.
And he's got the mind of Batman now.
Right.
So it's,
I think
on top of his
resourcefulness, like you said, and just the fluidity in his combat and all of his
actions.
Anything he does, he's like a ninja. Anything.
He's a ninja.
And he's got the...
except he's got a stealth suit, so how much,
which is dope, though.
That's a
dope stealth suit. It's got rocket
I mean, it helps for the ninja argument.
That was a bad analogy.
No, it's good. Very good. We're rolling.
But even without the suit, when he's just walking around and he's doing anything,
he's able to do it. Right, he has finesse. It's true.
The biggest thing that we're not talking about, and we kind of touched on it though, is with Batman in his ear, like Tim Drake, it's a wrap for him. Like Batman knows all this secrets.
But it is unanimous. But you guys also have to keep in mind, how often does Terry McGinnis actually listen to Batman? Listen to Bruce Wayne.
But the thing is, though,
if Tim Drake started putting
in some shit,
if Tim Drake started putting the hands on Terry McGinnis, Terry McGinnis like, all right,
what can I do?
What were you saying?
What's that about you knew him and trained him?
You trained him?
This is Mufasa's kid? Did you know that?
So I think I don't think it'd be like an easy win for Terry McGinnis. But I think that the second that Terry McGinnis got in that corner and he couldn't just adapt to the situation, he would be like, hey, so Bruce, this guy.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Just punch him in the shoulder. Bad shoulder.
But the bottom line is, I think that we all unanimously can agree that it won't even get to that point. He could just take him out.
I think Terry McGinnis has way too many ways to win. He just has that street mentality to him. Even if you eliminate the Batman aspect of him. Before that, even without being Batman, I'd take him in a dark alley.
So then that's a really great segue to the next person on the list, though. Jason Todd, who also has that street mentality.
I think that's way tougher.
Just to start this off, I think that out of all the fights, this would be the most brutal.
Oh, God.
Hands down, just like bloody, like coming out by the skin of your teeth. Like you need Batman to pick you up with the Batwing, Alfred to stitch you up on some really
no doubt.
You're in bed for the next 14 days because all of your bones are
broken. Breaking your back.
I agree.
No doubt, this is going to be brutal.
I also think an argument could be made that Terry McGinnis could probably be a vigilante type superhero without being Batman or that any gadget.
Yeah.
I mean, he has that need to help.
Yeah,
so,
it's the mentality.
No doubt.
I mean,
that's
at
the core of it. That's how the show starts. Like he starts off trying to get into it. Batman basically is like, you're gonna get yourself killed. So
he's like, here's my suit because I'm old. So
see, but
I'm a fart.
Honestly, but also
to
keep in perspective though. Also, when it comes to like the Jason Todd thing against Terry McGinnis, Terry McGinnis is actually just is a better person. I mean, like Jason Todd is a hero, I suppose, but he's a loose cannon. He had to be like reared and like taught how to like
the
be
biggest
a good
problem
person.
with that's the biggest problem with Jason Todd, and for this part, it's definitely a mental battle because physically, I think they even out because Jason Todd is proficient in almost everything.
Yeah,
but then Terry's got the tech.
That's what I was going to say. But Terry can match him because he has a suit that enhances his abilities, and then he's got a natural instinct. But the biggest thing is Jason Todd has a lot of fucking baggage, whereas Terry McGinnis has some baggage that he's accepted and used it to make him stronger, whereas Jason Todd has let that baggage like hold him back and ended up like clouding his judgment on a lot of things. If you don't know his backstory, he ends up getting killed by the Joker, mainly because he goes to find his mom, and it's essentially a trap set up by the Joker. It's a trap.
And Terry McGinnis, first episode of Batman Begins, he gets over that kind of puts it behind him.
He's
like, he deals with his demons and uses being Batman an outlet.
But at the same time, the one thing that's different about Terry than the other, well, I'll say the male figures we're dealing with here is that he has a parent.
Yeah.
He's still got his mom. He's still got his little brother. He has something there. So
he does have his family.
He's not as loose of a cannon because of that.
But at the same time, I feel like Terry McGinnis ends up like looking at Bruce as like a father figure, and Jason Todd kind of not rebels against Bruce, but he like
I disagree. I don't think he looks at Bruce like a father figure because I think he rebels against Bruce.
True.
I think Bruce treats him
at the end.
No, even in the beginning, because Bruce treats him like he's a child because that's how he's always taught his proteges. And Terry, because he's older than all of the other Robins or Batgirl, when he first takes him on, he puts up a fight.
But at the end of the day,
resisted it first. That's why he does his own thing. That's why he runs into everything head first and doesn't listen to Batman because he's like, "You're not my dad. I have a dad."
So we can argue that both Jason and Terry both kind of fought against Batman a lot.
Yeah, but I think that Terry ended up learning from Batman.
Similar.
But I was taking in anybody. If you see me in any of these videos, and you're gonna know that Red Hood, Jason Todd is one of. I'm so biased. I love Jason Todd.
Okay, let's.
I'm looking forward to crushing your dreams.
We'll see.
Check this. He made a really great point. I think this would be the deciding factor if Terry wins or not. Now, if Jason Todd is theoretically the Red Hood at this point, that means Batman has gone up against him. So that means Batman already understands how to stop him.
Yeah.
So but he's going to actually tell him this.
And again, that's the biggest thing. Because
he's going to get that.
If you watch like I think it was the Batman Beyond movie where like he squares off against the Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker's like, yo, first off, you're not even in my league.
Right.
Like, I fucked with Batman, like, you're a child.
Right.
And Terry, at first, he's like, oh, no, I got this. And then he's like, oh, shit, I don't have this. And then he's like, Bruce, what do I do? And Bruce is like, yo, you need to talk. You need to taunt him because the Joker cannot stand that. Like, he already doesn't respect you. And if you all of a sudden start taunting him and, like, act like you're above him, the Joker will lose his shit, and that's your advantage. And I think it's the same thing with Jason Todd. Not on the same level of taunting him, but Bruce would be like, yo, on some real shit, just be like, like Bruce replaced you with me. Like, why are you even trying? Like,
Great point.
I took the mantle. I'm the Batman now. Like, you would never be me.
You couldn't
like,
take this, right?
Joker took you out. The second he says Joker took you out.
Okay,
lovely.
check this out. Check this out.
Lovely. That's great.
Can I answer that before you start?
Go.
I think Terry McGinnis probably has him up on Todd just because of that.
Yeah, the
just because of that.
Yeah.
Jason Todd.
Batman.
Yeah.
Real quick though,
You weren't good enough to be
Jason Todd was brought back. Jason Todd was brought back with the Lazarus pit. That's exactly it. He was brought back with the Lazarus pit, so his mind is already like fragmented and broken.
But that makes him a problem.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Exactly
that's
he holds back emotion.
There's an X factor to Jason Todd that you can't like. You can't put your finger on because he's crazy.
And when he came back
it's the
from
same
the
thing
Lazarus
with the
pit, he
Joker.
was caught by the lead for a little while too. Yeah, he kept in mind too. He was caught up in that.
So, but what I'm saying is, when I say he holds back emotion, there's parts where he blacks out. If you, all right, if you fight somebody that's blacked out, do they give a regard for anything?
Yeah,
no, they don't. So now you have somebody that's been trained physically, probably the best Robin. Period. We can argue that later, but you know. First, it become between Dick and him. But he's trained by him.
One point that I will give you is, out of all the Robins, Jason Todd is next to maybe Damian. They're kind of close. Jason Todd is the first Robin that is quick to kill.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
He'll put
has
the
that
on
kill mentality. And now that he's crazy, he doesn't care about life. He doesn't care about whatever.
And he feels some sort of way towards Batman.
He's gonna be quicker to kill.
See, I'm sorry. I was just saying, like, I think that's an interesting point because I think that when it comes to Terry McGinnis has that like natural instinct to survive.
Yeah.
So if you push him to that edge, I do think that because of his just innate ability just to be a hero, not even just to like and to adapt. He has this amazing ability to adapt. I think that he has like that like small like shred of a chance to win. I think that's all that's needed. It's against Jason
At the
Todd.
end of the fight, I think that it'll end up being
he's gonna be killed
6 times out of 10. It will be Terry McGinnis winning, and I think that the biggest factor will be the biggest thing is I think that Terry McGinnis has that will to survive. I think that Terry McGinnis, when forced into a corner, adapts and ends up overcoming. And on the other end of the spectrum, I think that when Jason Todd is psychologically attacked, he ends up shutting down. Like, he might snap, but at some point it's going to be too much because I think that when it really comes down to it, there's a lot of self-doubt. And there's a lot of baggage that you can't do.
Terry can take a hit.
Actually, it's not a lot of self-doubt. Jason Todd doesn't have a lot of self-doubt. He has, why did you doubt me? It's spite against that. He wants to better that. Why don't you see me like I see myself because I am the best? So it actually isn't self-doubt. He's got something to prove. That's the thing. He's always trying to prove something.
So he's looking for other people's approval, and I think that in that fight, he would be like, wow, like, Bruce chose this kid over me. Shit, like, maybe he is better than me.
But then you bring on the point where because he's trying to prove himself, he's gonna go, well, I can kill him and take his heart.
It wouldn't be
I'm gonna show Batman, hey, screw you. There's your body. Look what you just did.
Such a good fight.
He wouldn't concede. He wouldn't be like, oh, well, he chose him, so that makes him better than me. He'd be like, he chose him, so I'm gonna show you.
Can we say that Terry McGinnis fights are pretty long? They're in the show. They're a little longer because he's, it takes him time to adapt. I feel Jason Todd will come so fast to him that it'll just overtake him.
That's another thing. He fights so quickly, and he's so
it's all assault.
And the other thing is, the other thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about Terry McGinnis is the guys that he comes up against are not really hand-to-hand combatants.
No,
they're dealing with a lot of technology.
Yeah,
they're
weapons,
futuristic,
huge weapons.
Right. Which he has to be resourceful. So we're back to that
The
where
whole
he is
thing
extremely resourceful. But how good of a fighter is he really? Because again, he was not trained by Bruce.
Terry, no.
And now you have somebody that can mimic Bruce's mannerisms.
But you're also forgetting about what his suit can do. Like, the invisibility is a big thing.
Yeah.
The super strength, because he's enhanced his strength, is another big thing. He can fly.
Okay, let's talk about this though.
Fly.
Let's put this down though. Keep in mind, like the invisibility. His sidekicks have been doing it without it. Without the suit. They were doing invisibility shit.
And once they know you're there, you don't have the edge anymore.
That's it. Like,
that's it.
And
so
as
soon as you're on the radar,
Terry Mcginnis cannot hang when it comes to like hiding himself in the shadows. He can't do it. He's not
never had
down.
to.
He's never had to.
No.
The suit does it for him.
But I don't think that he needs to. Like,
but
I'm just mentioning what his suit can actually do.
Yeah.
But in an
I
actual
think
fight,
Jason
like
Todd
his
could have stuff to counter that.
I think they have a lot of factors that cancel each other out.
Yeah.
But that's why I said
That's why
this
it's
would be
such
like
a good debate.
this would be
Right,
like the fight.
The title fight, period.
There's the
And it
psychological aspect where you could go either way.
Right.
But then the
Damian
physical,
Wayne
is
a lot more mentally strong,
I-
mentally stable.
I think that
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile,
think that-
Jason Todd has an incentive to beat Terry Mcginnis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's
Right.
not
But-
stable at all.
But
right.
at the same time,
right. So that
Terry
means he
Mcginnis has
can
that.
lose his
So
incentive.
that can go
Easily.
either way.
Right. He can easily lose his
But they
incentive.
both have
Two,
their
yeah.
incentives,
Right.
like, because Terry Mcginnis has that innate need to survive,
right.
like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
who he
Survival
is.
mentality. That's
Because he
So-
thinks about Dana and his little brother, and his
Yeah.
mom, and his
But-
dad
Yeah,
dying.
that's
He thinks
a
about all
big
these
thing.
things.
Having a family,
Yeah, having a family
pushes you
pushes
like
you
when
to
you
be like,
lose,
yo,
like, nah, I can't
I
lose
can't
because I
lose
have a
because I
family.
gotta take
Whereas
care of him. Right.
Jason Todd has
Yeah.
nothing to hold
Right.
on to anymore.
And also, like, Terry Mcginnis, once he took on it took him a little bit, but once he took on the mantle of being Batman, it became his city. Gotham is his. Like, he's like, yo, this is me.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
leave this shit to go to waste, and I'm not here to protect it.
Except
He's
that
with
we're fighting in Jason Todd's Gotham.
Yeah,
Not
this is
Terry's
his.
Gotham.
Yeah,
Good
this is
point.
Gotham.
Good point.
He grew up there.
Good
You know,
point.
how are you gonna
Yeah.
say that now?
That's
Now
a
you're
good
thinking
point.
if you're gonna say that he's taking over my city.
My shit.
I grew up
Yeah.
here.
But I don't
You're
think,
it's your city.
but I
That's
don't
the-
think,
that's
I don't
the-
think
that's the
Jason
hard
Todd
part.
sees it after he passed. I don't think
Yeah, I
that
don't
he
think
Well,
he saw it as a city anymore.
I see that too. When he was brought back from Lazarus Pit, you would say he was reborn, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, what was he raised in right after that? Violence.
The shadows.
Yeah, that's all he knows is being a badass killing machine. Period. You know, and we can bring it even back into the movies now, where with Under the Red Hood, he what was he killing like every mob boss in the city?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was raised in violence. Period.
All right. So everything.
I think it's gonna be split. Period.
It's
Yeah,
a split.
I know,
decision.
100%. I think that
Yeah, it's hard to.
That's
choose.
probably
We gotta
going to be
choose
the
somebody.
closest.
Well, I don't think
I think
we've
that's
got
going
a
to be
odd number, so I don't think
Well,
it's
like,
split.
you guys gotta
Who's
choose
saying
first.
what?
All right. I'm going obviously
Let's go.
my
Yeah.
dude Jason
Each
Todd.
person.
I'm actually with you, Pat.
Yeah,
Oh,
buddy.
okay.
I'm going to have to say,
What you
I
got?
think Terry Mcginnis is going to take this one, just on the psychological end.
Goodness gracious, what you got?
I'm going to take Terry Mcginnis
Oh,
on the
God.
psychological
Take Terry McGinnis.
and maybe a
deciding
little bit of
factor.
strength.
Relax.
Maybe have,
Drum
might
roll.
have
We'll
the edge on
We'll
strength a
talk
little bit.
later.
All right.
He'll beat him. He'll
Let's
beat
not
him
get
on
dramatic,
some
come on.
Alright.
quick psychological shit, and then he'll fucking like shock him
I
or
don't
some
know.
shit. and
Alright.
put him to sleep. That's a good.
I actually believe in the teachings of the bat, so I'm gonna go with Jason Todd.
Oh!
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I believe
He's got Batman in his ear.
Yeah.
He has Batman in his ear.
But he's got Batman in
Batman
his
beat
soul, like
him already.
But yeah,
in his
But
soul, in his
but-
fucking soul.
but
He threw a fucking batarang into his gun.
but if you read a book about martial arts, do you automatically become a master?
No. And I think
that's
that's a big point.
Yeah, if you're talking about
Yeah.
the Ninja Turtles, yes.
Oh,
So
then you
that's how it
do.
goes.
We definitely took
No
some time.
spoilers, sorry.
Yeah, no, the next that was the hardest
All
one.
right, that was definitely the hardest one. We should have wrapped it a little bit sooner. How about we? All right, you want to switch it
I
up?
want to end with
Damien.
You want to end? Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're gonna
So I
do
think-
it.
I mean-
Let's go to. Let's go.
Barbara.
Come on, switch it up.
Barbara Gordon.
Yeah,
Barbara?
Barbara Gordon.
all right, I'm
Barbara
gonna
Gordon. The one that can
step
walk.
back a
I
little
think
bit.
that's going to be a
We'll
tough one.
see.
I honestly think Barbara Gordon's probably the best with technology.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
like Rachel said before, I think she'd shut down the suit in a
Yeah.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
So shut it down.
I think
Especially in
Yeah.
her.
Terry
job.
McGinnis is
If anyone's-
good without it
if
with the
anyone's
suit,
gonna
but there's
figure out
been
the tech,
multiple
it's her.
times where Terry McGinnis' suit has been shut down, and he's
He's
kind
like-
of just like, well, Batman, the suit shut down.
Well,
so
I don't wanna
it's
see-
locked up.
I think this is hard because now you're gonna go, okay, yeah, let's say Terry, you're gonna have a bunch of people going, well, that's sexist. I don't want to talk about like.
No.
I'm throwing that out there, but
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, because it's not. It's not at all.
It's not.
I think when it comes straight to let's say she shuts down to shoot.
She
sells down his suit. There we go.
It's broken.
Yeah, it's broken. All right, so she does that. It still comes down again, like every fight will, to hand to hand.
It's true, but again, she's been
going to immobilize him with this suit.
No, but here's the problem.
She could freeze the suit.
Batman's done it.
That's the thing.
Batman's been able to immobilize the suit.
Frozen,
right.
But is that the only person that has the capability?
No. The suit obviously has a remote access, but if someone can figure out how to hack him,
that's definitely a weakness.
The only thing, here's the thing. Let's keep it like this. Also keep these things in mind. We must factor in that the suit is generations ahead of its time. So when it comes to her like deactivating the suit, how far could she go in a short amount of time to deactivate the suit? How much can she actually do in a short amount of time? She can't dismantle it. She can't.
But
she just
another thing. There's been multiple times where Terry Mcginnis is because it's a visor that has like a screen. It's a HUD essentially. And there's multiple times where there's been interference or something along those lines where he couldn't see as well. And I think that Barber would easily get that, like, fuck with his HUD and then just use that to her advantage.
First and foremost, let's put it this way, like the fight begins. He's coming at her. She's going to evade. She's going to try to figure out what's going on. She's going to give some quick witty banter, say a couple quick things. But after a while, she's
everything going on right now.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it. And then after a while, she's going to get away. She's going to get away. She's going to reassess the situation, try to figure out what the hell's going on.
The whole hiding in the shadow thing plays a big role.
That's the whole point, right?
But what other gadgets does Tracy have where he can't track her?
He can't track her. What is he? What can he track her? You're gonna track someone that's
hold on. Bruce Wayne can track her.
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne can track her.
He can find her.
And I'm sure her moves are gonna be, okay, she's gonna jump behind you in 3 steps.
She's like, shoot on the spine, shoot on the spine.
No. Here's the thing. The thing is, like, what Bruce is going to tell Terry Mcginnis as quick as possible, please take her out now. Take her out now.
But that's the biggest thing. Like,
don't take her out now.
She would immediately realize. She would pick up that there's some radio signal going on. Like
she
would call it. I think the reason that Terry would end up losing is because she would cut off communication with Bruce and then dismantle him bit by bit.
True.
It'd be a slow process, but I think that she would just take out different parts of the suit.
But the question is, does he take her out before she can get to that point?
See, personally, I believe she'll be the only one to actually figure out that he's talking to someone.
Yeah.
She's the only one. She'll be the only one that, what is he doing? Like, she'd be the only one to think about it.
She'll probably be the only one that thinks about the fact that he's going to fly into this fight.
Right. And she'd be like, okay,
fly.
You can't fly.
Like, he can actually fly. So right then and there, it's gonna signal her to the fact that there's tech involved.
Yeah.
That there's.
But at that point, he can have already, done damage.
It's true.
Until she's gonna blink. He's gonna be in her face, ready to pounce.
If you watch,
and he's a brawler.
Basing a lot of this off the show. Terry Mcginnis flies in and takes out a lot of different people, but
she can fight.
When he flies in, most of the people that he's fighting are amateurs, and they're using abilities of like Bane, for example, with the patch or whatever.
Right.
But they're not
Bane.
Bane would heartbeat, hear the jet come and catch him and flip phones. And going up against Batgirl, she would she would know what's coming. They're always ready to fight.
She's gonna give him the hand skills. She's got the hands on him. But I think something's gonna break. He's gonna break something. He's gonna break something on her body. He'll break her. He'll break her ribs. He'll break her arm. He'll break something.
The question is, does he beat her good enough before she can figure out the tech? And
good question.
I think he probably will.
Yeah, I think he's just too fast flirty. I think he's gonna be in her face.
And this was back to what I was saying before. Does she have time to prepare for this fight? Because if so, she's taking it.
Well, absolutely. But
that's not our premise.
Yeah, I think that she'll be able to evade and reassess. And the thing is, her resourcefulness comes. The important thing about her resourcefulness is that it's quick. It's always quick. That's why she becomes the Oracle. Oh, What's up? Barbara was good. And she's like, yo, this
not to jump way too quick or way too much off topic, but comparing the Oracle to like Felicity, for example, from Arrow.
Yeah.
Like Felicity is like Oliver's like, I need this.
Yes,
we gotta hold that for another topic.
No,
Oracle
because,
Felicity
because
smoke.
let's be fair. Her character is kind of an homage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
You have to consider that.
Yeah,
but in the show,
still amazing.
Oliver
she's great.
Constantly is like, I need it now. I need it now. So the way that Barbara's mind works, and her dad also was a detective, so she's grown up trying to outsmart a detective.
Yeah,
and they touch upon that a lot.
Yeah. Bruce contacts her and she's like, "This is what I need." She's like, "I've got it for you." 3 seconds later,
yeah, exactly.
Like she was like, "I'm a step ahead of you already."
Look behind your ear.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's my point.
So I think that she can almost adapt and or plan for situations better than anybody else.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I absolutely believe
personally believe this. If you going against Barbara Gordon, make sure you take her out quick.
Yeah.
That's simple.
And I think he's the one to do it.
I think so.
I think if anyone would, it would be the fastest.
The thing is, I actually think she's tough enough to actually get hit a couple times, get a couple knocks, and then hide and get away and figure something out. God bless you. So I guess we got to go around the table again, and this is again another hard one. Try to figure out what everybody says, everybody thinks.
I'm definitely going. I'm going with Terry. I think it's too fast for her. She's gonna be overwhelmed. Period.
All right.
I'm going with Terry.
Terry McGinnis. Wow. What you go with?
I honestly think Barbara can just dismantle Terry. Like, I think that she'll figure out the tech, adapt to the situation, and that's a wrap. Terry. It'll be close, but I think that at the end of the day, it'll be like Terry, like, and the suit will be frozen.
All right, so 2-1.
What you got, babe? Okay, well, I personally believe Barbara Gordon as well, because I think Barbara Gordon. I think John made a great point. I think the biggest problem with Terry actually is he fights too much. He's too involved with his own fists. He flies around. It just becomes like a matter of just knocking things. It will help you, but the thing is, it will help you if you go against someone that just fights.
Real quick, you were the ones that said, like, every time Terry McGinnis fights, it's a long fight. It's never a quick thing. And then you like Jason Todd makes it quick.
Right.
On that same point, though.
Okay, you're right.
On the same point, though.
Time is a big factor. We all know technology has flaws.
He takes his time.
Yeah. But I said he was taking longer because he had to figure out, what he was going to do. I don't think that Terry's gonna automatically be like, all right, this is a girl. I'm gonna wipe the floor. So he's gonna fly in because, I know what I said, and I still stand by it. But what I just think that it's gonna be he's gonna try to.
Terry McGinnis, and if you go to his high school career, he's relatively popular, and he's a show off.
Right.
Yeah. He's not like a.
I'm gonna stick with it. I can see it. I'm gonna stick with it.
Like
so 2-2.
When he got the bat, like he likes to fly around. He likes to say, "Hey, look at my bat suit. Like I'm pretty cool." Like he needs to show off. Yeah, no, he really is. He's a swag champ. But like that's a problem when it comes to a fight. And I think that Bruce, and touching upon like the whole like you're not my dad thing, Terry would fly in. And then he'd be like, "Oh, it's a girl. Like I got this." And Bruce would be like, "No, chill, no, chill. You don't know what you're up against." And then he'd be like, "No, I got this." By the time he realizes, it'd be too late. And Barbara was like,
I don't think that he would. I don't think he would be like.
I agree with that.
I don't think that Terry would be like, "Oh, she's a girl, so that means I got this." Like, I don't think that's how he would. I don't think that's how he would approach the fight.
I mean, I don't think he would. But I do think that.
I don't think that it would be like.
He would underestimate it.
I think he would underestimate it to a certain extent.
I think he underestimates everyone.
That's what
I think that's part of his tactic is that he just like he goes in head first, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the other thing to consider is like. Every single one of these is a member of the BatFamily. I think you're going to look at Batgirl and you're going to be like, all right, clearly she's been trained by Bruce. I cannot underestimate her. So right then and there, she's gonna strike him, and he's gonna be like, "No, I have to approach this seriously."
Yeah.
Especially with Bruce in his ear being like, "Don't sleep on her. Do not."
Because
first and foremost, she won't
going
attack
back
first,
to the Joker thing.
She won't attack first.
No,
she won't. But that's the thing. The question is, will he take her out before she gets a chance to attack the tech? Because she's not gonna attack him. She's gonna attack the tech.
And the only way for her to even know what the tech is for her to get close enough. And at
I
that
think,
point,
I think he's gonna take her out. So casting my vote, Terry Mcginnis.
Wow.
3-2.
Wow. I definitely need to make a point about Terry Mcginnis and Batman. And I'll explain why this ties in. One thing about Terry Mcginnis, he's not as efficient in his delivery as Bruce Wayne, Batman.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
of
like
more
sloppy
finesse
hits.
related. Like we were talking, he's a swag champ, he's a gymnast. You know, he likes the spectacle of combat. Bruce Wayne and Batgirl being trained by Bruce Wayne is about combat efficiency. Right. Not about the spectacle of combat. It's about the bottom line, like an ABC.
Yeah, absolutely. That comes down to
being trained, being a student of Bruce Wayne. She has that also. Yeah. So while Terry Mcginnis is flipping around flying, she's thinking of a way to dismantle his tech and to beat him. So that you definitely have to factor that in.
But she's not very.
I'm still going Terry.
Oh, okay, good.
But
she's a strong fighter, but she doesn't. She's not a brawler. She doesn't like to.
She's efficient.
That's the thing.
Yeah, she's efficient though.
But anytime she does get into fights, it's usually she gets her ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, she does.
She gets her ass kicked a lot.
She's tough.
Yeah. She is tough. She could take a hit like nobody's business, but she gets her ass kicked
a lot. Yeah, she does.
And I think that he's gonna take her out.
Look at it this way. Like Terry Mcginnis is coming down with the rocket launchers and shit under his feet. She'll take
fire boots.
Like the fire boots. Word. She'll take some She'll take something like a battering or something from her belt.
No, the boots are out.
Yeah,
the boots are out from like the get.
If that's the first thing she sees, I know she's gonna try to get it. But if it's head first, I don't know. Like we were saying, if he gets close to her, she's done.
But you got to keep in mind, you're saying that as if she doesn't go against. But you're saying that as if she doesn't go against superpowered people already. Like she doesn't go against Bane.
But it's futuristic tech.
She does.
Period.
But
it's gonna take longer than her average.
It's gonna take longer for her to decode it. Not to evade it,
but how?
She also has time. The way Terry fights, the way he, how we touched on earlier. He likes a drawn out battle. Yeah, that's just the way he operates. A drawn out battle. Right. With her thinking every second and being more efficient.
He likes a drawn out battle if it has some sort of reward. If she's retreating the whole time.
True. He's just gonna want to end it. True. Exactly. So, I like I said, it's gonna be we can argue this all day.
True.
Everybody's got great points. Right. If
the vote has been cast.
Yeah, it has.
Terry wins.
Terry wins again.
At this point, you guys know what you think. That's all.
Yeah. So now it's like 2-1. Terry for. Didn't we say Terry was going to be Tim Drake, and then Jason Todd, and then Terry. All right, so 2-1. I guess we got two more, right?
Dick Grayson and Damian.
So we're going Dick Grayson. Who's starting? I like Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
I'll go. I guess Matt, you start first, baby.
Wait,
we're going Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson. Yeah, Dick Grayson right now.
This one's tough because he's my favorite.
Me too.
Dick Grayson.
I know, awesome. Obviously you said yours is Jason Todd, but I think this one is difficult because he's obviously the most well-rounded of the BatFamily and the most like Batman.
And the most
even though in terms of personality,
I think he's on the opposite end.
He's completely different than
Batman.
Batman.
But in terms of every other aspect, he's closest to Batman.
Everything else, he's
to a certain extent. I think that he exerts more energy than Batman. Like what Ricky said, in terms of efficiency, Dick Grayson's a showman.
Except that it doesn't exert as much for him because of his acrobatic.
But in terms of his actual movement, he definitely does a lot more than he needs to. Batman would do a straight punch, whereas Dick Grayson would do a cartwheel then punch you. And
I
mean,
so
in terms of how that might affect the actual fight,
they were both gymnasts.
Yeah.
Period.
It's just
no.
Dick Grayson and Batman are on.
No, you're talking about.
Terry
McGinnis.
You know,
totally different. Terry McGinnis is not even can't even see.
No.
But
he's a gymnast. I mean, he wasn't an acrobat. But they were both gymnasts.
Terry McGinnis was high school
gymnast.
Yeah, high school gymnast.
But
from
the he was amazing.
That's like going to LeBron James. You're like, yeah, you know, I played ball in high school. So, you know,
right. So I got you.
You saw ball. I'll play.
My vote, I can say off the bat, is gonna be Dick Grayson. But that's, I mean, if you talk about any Robin, who has, I said it before, who became a superhero or who had, you know, their own hero identity? Nightwing. That's it. And Red Robin, but he doesn't count.
I think that's also a psychological level, though, because Dick Grayson got to the point where he's like, you know, Batman, I don't agree with a lot of the shit that you do, and I'm kind of like over this. I'm gonna go.
But that's important.
Do my own thing and do it well.
It's important.
And Terry McGinnis is in the shadows of Batman yet again.
If you look at not Young Justice, if you look at Justice League, Terry McGinnis finds out that
Bruce is his
like his dad.
She got some splendid
he addresses it, and he's not on some like, oh, like yeah, but dad. He's on some like, yo, you like hid shit from me, and
where have you been?
Like I've been here. Like you set this whole shit up. So I don't think what
Waller did.
Yeah, Waller did. Yeah,
but he was basically like, the world needs a Batman.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh, shit. What does Waller say?
The situation.
Waller specifically says
she's like,
doesn't have. You have the moves, but you don't have.
She said. What she said was she was just like she said something to mine that like she's just like, you don't have his brilliant mind.
Yeah.
He's like he has a mind that can never be made again, but you do have his heart. That's what she says. You definitely have his heart. He has his fighting spirit.
Okay, we're gonna go off topic.
But here's the thing.
Where are we?
But I think that plays in because one of the reasons Bruce is such a problem is he feels like he cannot fail ever.
Right.
Like in any situation, you could have him underwater for 3 days, and he's like, I can breathe water. Like,
I was thinking the same.
I will make this work. Like that's dead ass.
But okay, so that's how Bruce thinks. But if it's where does that?
But if Amanda Waller sees that in Terry McGinnis, where he's like, this kid cannot lose, it plays a big role because I think out of all the Robins, Dick Grayson is one of the first people that will be like, oh, you know what? If it gets a little bit too hard, he's like, I'm out. Like, I'm not trying to do my own thing.
No, I don't think that. I just think he finds alternate means. Yeah, he finds alternate means. He's like, oh, let me try to figure out some other shit rather than killing this dude.
The thing is, like, Dick Grayson, I think Dick Grayson's like that because he never wanted to be baby. He never wanted the like pity me because my parents are dead kind of thing. Like he never wanted that, and I think that like when Batman took him on, that was how he first approached him. So I think that Dick Grayson took this like, I'm forever gonna try to shake that from you, and prove that like I have like you can't talk to like I didn't let you talk. He's like I didn't let you talk to me that way when I was 9 years old. I'm not gonna let you talk to me that way as a
I'm
fucking
23.
adult,
okay.
Like, this is not gonna happen.
This too, I think, is we must highlight too, because he's Nightwing. That means that he has. I once read a DC comic that states that you know how they have all these like this whole, of course, the whole multi-universe is coming up and shit, but they got all these different characters that come across like Batman and Robin, but Robin is the only character in all of DC history to meet every single character in the DC universe. Dick Grayson is the only character in DC history to meet every single character and have some sort of interaction with them or learn something from them. So with that being said, he's learned from sorcerers like Dr. Fate, or he's learned from the world's best fighters like Wildcat, or he's learned from quote unquote the Earth's best hero, which is Superman. He's learned, or Batman, arguably speaking. Whoa. But that's what I'm saying, right?
Touching some subjects.
For another day.
Striking some chords here, but With that being said, he is, as we all have said, he's well rounded. He'll have what's essentially needed to stop Terry Mcginnis. Terry Mcginnis just won't be able. Terry Mcginnis just he's just not on his level.
I'm gonna talk real quick about New 52, not to spoil anything, but at a certain point, Two-Face squares off with Nightwing, and Two-Face takes down Nightwing on some real shit, and Alfred has to step in.
Oh, but if we're sticking New 52, let's talk about Grayson.
Right.
Doesn't he? That's after he gets killed by what's his name?
Killed, quote unquote.
Who does?
Killed in the comic book meaning
Who does?
Killed, which means you're not actually ever dead.
Grayson gets killed.
How?
In the Forever Evil.
Forever Evil. The fucking Ultraman? Was it Ultraman?
I can't even remember.
We are talking. You sure you're not talking about Justice when he gets killed?
No, Forever Evil. Dick Grayson gets killed, and then he becomes a secret agent.
They reveal his identity. They parade him in front of everyone. It's on real shit.
I'm
gonna be a hero. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I fell off.
Anyway, I think that one of Dick Grayson's biggest flaws is he has too much fun. I think
fun's a good thing, though.
Yeah, but I think in the New 52, when Two-Face kind of takes out Dick Grayson, the reason why he realizes it's not Batman he's fighting, because at this point, Batman's kind of gone and Dick Grayson's playing the role as Batman.
Yeah, he's taking
First off, Dick Grayson does not think he can fit in Bruce's shoes at all. One of the biggest things, when he was forced to be Batman, he's Alfred, I can't do this.
He couldn't do it. He just didn't want to. He didn't like
it.
It's
not even. I don't even think he. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to
be Batman.
But I also think
he wanted to be his own person.
He doesn't think that he could be Batman at the same time. When he was forced to be Batman, he was yeah, this is not. I can't do this.
But again, that has to do with the identity issues. That's not really because it's not an esteem issue. It's like I said, you've been trying to tell me what to do since I was 9 years old. I didn't let you get away with it then. I'm not gonna let you get away with it now. So it's tell me I have to be Batman, and automatically I don't want to be Batman.
Yeah. But 100% with that. But at the same time, he likes to go and be his own person, do his own thing. And I feel at the end of the day, he's always gonna revert back to his childhood, jump around, have fun, and kicking people's ass. And I think that Terry Mcginnis takes the fight a little bit more serious. He likes to showboat, like I said, but at the same time, there's a level of efficiency in it.
They're both showboats, but who's more showboat?
Who's gonna showboat more?
And I agree that I think that you have a very, very valid point that Dick Grayson is 100% a little bit more rounded than Terry Mcginnis.
Yeah. But that you completely segued into what I wanted to say. It was awesome. There is a level of efficiency and effectiveness in naivety and the greenness in combat.
Right.
So, Nightwing, very seasoned, very well-rounded, very combat-oriented, knows a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But Terry Mcginnis, a little bit less unskilled, very as effective, but a little bit more naive in the application of combat. Effective, but more unseasoned.
Yeah,
right.
So,
absolutely.
And that is dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you get
especially up against someone who's incredibly seasoned.
Right.
Yes. A little bit more unpredictable.
I think that's
that's very
but
important.
Adapting at that point.
Yeah.
Everything's back to.
I think that's one of Terry McGinnis's greatest strengths. My dude can adapt to almost any situation and make anything around him end up being a weapon.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that Dick Grayson goes in hey, this is my arsenal. I have this skill, this skill, this skill, this skill, and that's what I'm going to use today. Where Terry McGinnis is
but he's going to make it work.
I have my fists, and
he's going to make it work.
Yeah, Terry,
and all his tech,
Dick Grayson always makes sure he's in a position.
I feel like we constantly forget that Bruce is in.
Yeah.
Terry McGinnis' ear. That's a huge factor.
Except that Dick is the only one who's ever been able to fuck with Batman's head.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
He's the only one he's the only one of the Robins.
But then touching
upon
upon the fact that
Like, don't hurt
Barber's the only person that's gonna even realize that someone's talking to Terry McGinnis. I don't think unless Terry McGinnis specifically says something that can link back to Bruce, I don't think Dick is gonna realize.
Yeah, which he might.
Because Terry McGinnis is gonna be in trouble, and he's gonna say,
"Hey, Bruce," or
I need help. He's gonna be talking.
Yeah, I know.
But I think Dick Grayson's just that smart. He's not a genius. Don't get me wrong, but he's that smart to not like Barbara Gordon.
No.
He's that smart to at least figure it out. Hey, he's talking to somebody from my past. Obviously, they know. Eventually, he's gonna say, "Oh, hey, Bat, fuck you. See you later," and he's gonna.
I think
he's gonna take it.
That's a good point. But I do think that what's gonna come down to it is, which is actually to segue into her point. His Terry McGinnis' biggest weakness, believe it or not, is Bruce Wayne. Because Bruce Wayne is going to be the one to be like, don't hurt him, relax.
Yeah,
it's true.
Pull back.
It's true.
And then before he knows it, he gets his ass whooped.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's for me. I choose to on that principle alone, I choose Dick Grayson.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, why pull back now? Like, out of all this time you've been telling me to attack, to pursue. What's so different about this one? Why didn't you ever tell me about him? You supposed to tell me. You never told me.
Yeah,
I think,
and he's gonna start not trusting Bruce again.
Yeah,
and then it's a whole other show.
If Terry McGinnis could have Bruce Wayne in his ear in the beginning of the fight, and then when if it got gritty and down to the bottom line, where one of them has to win, one of them has to live.
If he takes Bat out,
no more Batman, I think you would have a better chance of that than having Batman.
I think my boy Dick Grayson.
I might have to.
My baby's first name.
All right, let's do combat. Who do you take?
Combat?
Just straight combat.
Straight combat.
Dick Grayson. Straight combat. Okay.
You were gonna say Terry, weren't you?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Psychologically,
I think Terry McGinnis is stronger psychologically.
I think
I don't know because having somebody else sitting there talking to you saying, "Hey, don't do this, don't do this."
Yeah.
Okay, do this. I think that already messes that up. You don't need to get in the zone because you got something.
The only place where you see weakness in Dick Grayson psychologically is against Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's the same way for both of them. Like, So it kind of evens out, but at the same time, like, I do think that, like, Terry McGinnis does need to rebel against Bruce, but he always reins it back in, whereas Dick Grayson rebels against Bruce, and he's like, yo, I'm not even trying to fuck with you at all.
Yeah.
But that's why, but the thing is, and I think this is important to keep in mind when you're talking about Dick Grayson, like, Dick Grayson has been able to go off and defend his own city.
Right.
Like, where other people, like,
he's his own vigilante.
Like, Bloodhaven was his shit.
Yeah.
Like, he had it all unlocked.
Like,
so even though he rebels from Bruce and he's like, yeah, I'm not fucking with you, he's good. Like, he's got it. Like,
he's still good money.
He's learned so much from Batman, and not just Batman. Back to your point, from like so many other heroes, so many other things. Like, he's got too much in his arsenal.
I think they would make hell of a team. I think they would make a hell of a team.
They would make a hell of a team.
I think they would make a hell of a team.
That would make a
Dick
great
Grayson,
team.
Terry McGinnis, fuck the world.
That would be a dope ass team. That would be a dope ass team. But still, to me, that still even gives Dick the credit. He's gonna be asking Dick for fucking advice. Yeah. That's the fucking point.
So, I think he's gonna be asking. I think it'd be in Terry's ear.
I don't think either one of them would lose. I think they'd become friends and work together. You know what? Fuck this Bruce guy. He's an asshole.
It's like, come on, let's go back to the Batcave. Alfred will make us cocoa.
We'll stitch you up because I hooked you up, and I think we're kind of all floating around that idea that it would be close, but
I think
Dick's got it.
All right,
final. Second unanimous.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting down to the wire. This is the last person we're going to discuss. So we're going to go down the wire again. Before we go down, we're just going to recap. So first person we had was
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake was the first. Lost. Sorry, Tim.
So that's
You're
Terry.
the man.
Terry won.
You're the man. Terry won. Next person, Jason Todd.
Jason Todd won.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. My dude.
Okay.
I think that one should go. I think that one should go out to the viewers.
Yeah.
All right, y'all comment.
John just mad because he lost.
We'll do.
No, it's not even that. I lost the next one too, but I don't know about the Jason's. I think that's.
I don't know. Tell us in the comments.
That's a hard one.
Please tell us in the comments.
Please, we need it. Now, Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon, what did we say? That Terry won.
Unfortunately, Terry won.
I
really think that needs to be debated more.
All right.
It's debatable.
Well, no, we'll do another time.
So that's 2 Terry,
2 sidekicks.
2 sidekicks. So 4 and 4 is the deciding factor.
This is the deciding factor right here, isn't it?
Wait. Oh yeah.
Holy shit! It's the deciding factor.
All right. So that would be Damian Wayne.
I think we should talk a little bit about Damian before we even
first. Yeah.
Get into this, because I think Damian is probably the since he's so. I want to say he's new, but he's really not that new. But he's
the
in
newer.
terms of bat history, yes, he is.
He's relatively new, yeah. Definitely.
So, Damian Wayne is Bruce Wayne's alleged son with Talia al Ghul.
Alleged.
Raised by the League of Shadows.
By the League of Shadows.
League of Shadows. He's how old is he?
He's
11, and he's like an ultimate fucking badass.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
really that's
and
really
it's not even like on some like I can fight shit. It's on like every single level. Like if you think you can pour your cereal like he pours it better than you.
Let's talk about how 11-year-old was running Wayne Industries on his own.
Yes.
Just easy.
So all right.
Yes.
Doing repairs on the Batmobile. He upped the Batmobile, made it be able to fly.
He's got all of the strengths.
Can we talk about that? He has a dog. No one else has had an animal. No one else like. Do you know how much responsibility it takes to have an animal?
And he's 11.
And he's 11.
No. Damn, man. I'm 27. I can't even take care of a dog.
So let's do this. And I'm not even saying I agree with this, but just to throw it out there, isn't he one of besides Jason Todd, he's the only other one to die? Doesn't he die?
Yeah.
He does die.
Spoiler, really quickly.
Yeah, spoiler, guys.
Well, wait.
Sorry,
Let's
but
take this even further though, because I mean, his
but
character
he dies by himself.
Like he's an older character. He was just recently revived.
Yeah.
And
I love how she brings it up.
Another reason.
It's wonderful.
And another thing about how he dies, he gets killed by.
This is the second time he dies.
All right. If you guys are gonna plan on reading any of the 52 with Damian involved or whatnot, just pause right here or skip forward.
Spoiler alerts.
Yeah,
he ends up being killed by his own self. That's a clone, like a clone of himself in the like grown up, like age.
No.
Yes, he does. When he gets stabbed through the chest,
I thought he goes on to Blaze of Glory and all of the ninjas like shoot him up with arrows.
Nope. He gets stabbed through the chest.
Wolverine.
Viewers, please reconfirm. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Damian's one of my favorite characters.
I'm sorry.
He gets stabbed through the chest by Talia Ghul, like such whole elaborate things up for Batman, and Damian was supposed to stay at the Batcave, and
of course he didn't.
No. Well, Alfred, he's going to leave, and he's like, "Yo, Alfred, you're not going to stop me." And he's like, "Nope, I'm not. Like, you need to help Batman." He ends up having to fight himself. That like it's a clone of himself that's been aged to like the perfect age, and he ends up getting like stabbed through the fucking chest and shit.
And it's interesting. I mean, that's wow. But yeah, also like let's keep in mind too. Damian becomes the next Robin. Now that he is an expert fighter, and he's the youngest Robin of all time, of course. But also, he's an expert fighter.
Before he ever gets to Batman.
Yeah, right. This is before he even is in Batman's like guardianship. He is one of the best fighters, hands down. And keep in mind, he's young, so that means he's continuously learning because he was already an amazing fighter being under his grandfather, Raish. And then from there, everyone knows him, and then from there, he goes to the Bat, and the Bat trains him to a great.
I think
the Bat tries to train him.
I think that
he does.
Batman trains him
discipline
and mentally more than anything
they were
else.
both trained by the League of Shadows, both of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the only thing is Batman wasn't as angry and as willing to kill. I think that he had that under control. Whereas Damian, and that played a big part.
And we are killing. These are fights to death. They're not arresting.
No, because I think we have the.
I don't know,
because Terry Mcginnis is not about that. Like
none of them.
They're not.
No, I think Jason Todd.
Damien.
I think Damian is not about that because he has Batman in the back of his mind saying not to do it. But if you push him to that point where he's like, "Shit, I'm gonna die,"
I'm gonna kill you.
Your head off.
Yeah,
I'm
think I'm gonna go with Damian with this one.
Okay.
I think even though he was, like I said, with the death thing, but just the will to kill.
The biggest
really
thing
runs.
The biggest thing that in this fight is Damian's a 10-year-old and his body is not matured to the level of any of these other people.
Yeah.
And on top of Terry Mcginnis,
of Terry's tech.
Terry Mcginnis alone as a young adult has an advantage, and then on top of that, having the tech definitely plays a role.
Yeah. But Shadows are old school. They're using smoke bombs.
But I think that.
But he's come up against other grown men before.
I'm trying to just
even out the playing field.
Damian's using plastic explosives. He's using everything in his arsenal at him because he knows. Because he's gonna be like he could just. Because let's keep in mind, Damian's gonna be able to as soon as the suit lands to the ground, he's gonna be like, wow, the way that landed, I could tell that there's something going on with the suit. It has extra weight involved, weight distribution.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So something's going on, faster than anyone's. Right, so he's going to be like, wow, like I could just tell by the way his stance is, he's not necessarily a skilled fighter, but because he's so confident to actually come here so quickly, he has something going on with the suit. He must have super strength. One of the biggest things that he's going to know.
One of Damian's biggest weaknesses is his arrogance. He knows he's legit, and because he knows he's legit, he oftentimes is overly cocky.
He gets it over his head.
And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize that."
See, that's the problem. That's the problem because the thing is, he's gonna get hit one good time,
and that's it.
And that's it. And he's gonna get one, but not even out. He's tough enough to take one hit. Yeah. And he takes one hit, he's gonna break mad shit. And he's gonna be like, I can still do this.
And then all of a sudden, he goes to do something. And then, he's like, I can't breathe.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to figure something out.
I think one thing that we haven't brought up this whole time that is I think it's kind of important is that a lot of the gadgets that the sidekicks have are kind of built into Terry's suit.
Yeah.
Like
true.
He doesn't have to reach for his utility belt and pull something out to throw
it's
at you.
at his hands.
They're in his suit. It's a lot more seamless. So there's less warning. And I kind of wish we brought this up earlier.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely true. Because instead of reaching for something, he's
definitely one of his attributes is the fluid. Like I said before, the fluidity in his combat.
It's just seamless. The tech alone, I think it's kind of hard to.
But then to go back to that's the homeboy Dick Grayson still is taking because Dick Grayson he doesn't heavily rely on any tech.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. He can still
I was gonna say for all of them, they've all trained with that.
Still got it.
They all know the tricks.
Right.
I feel like Terry Mcginnis would throw a batarang and Damian
will catch it.
He'd be like,
this
is actually a pretty cool batarang. I like the color.
He would throw it and knock out one of his jets or some shit like that. He's just like, wow, I don't know this tech. I feel like I could recharge
with gadgets because Damian goes up. Terry Mcginnis goes up against a lot of people that are not on that level of
tech.
Well, Batman level. Like he even close.
Thugs.
I think he goes up against a lot of thugs, and I feel like Damian's been training against members of the League of Shadows, like all some real shit.
Ninja assassins.
I think honestly, here's the thing. This is what I really think. I think technologically he'd be really intrigued with the suit. I think Damian would get into some shit with the suit and figure out that it's so technologically advanced and it has all these overarching achievements. He'd be like, wow, I want this shit for myself. I gotta figure out a way to get this shit off of him. Yeah. I want to be able to fuck around with it and see what I can do with it.
He's a kid.
He's a kid. So he's gonna be like, I want to see. Instead of taking out the immediate threat until he gets hurt.
I feel like Damian, the second Damian gets perfect example.
What?
In one of in the comic line where Damian ends up dying, at one point he gets hit by a henchman and loses his shit and almost kills this guy. Starts
beating him almost cut his head off. I think.
Yeah, and Batman stops him and afterwards Damian's
no, he gets
crazy upset.
He gets hit with a fucking sledgehammer or
something. Yeah, and he's crazy upset and he's like, "Wow, I almost killed that guy." if Batman wasn't there to stop him, he would have killed him. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if Damian snaps like that, and all of a sudden it's not a joke anymore because he takes every fight as a joke. He thinks he's better than anyone that steps up to him. And the biggest thing is
he's a kid.
The biggest thing is
and
War
of the Robin
thing
happening. Like kids do.
War of the Robin is basically Damian like, I'm better than all of you guys. You'll never be as good a Robin as I am. I will beat you at your own game. And the fact that he turns into a game shows that he's immature about it. But if Damian gets pushed to that point where like all of a sudden he's like, oh shit, this isn't a game anymore. Like this dude just gave me a good shot. Like he snaps and it's back to League of Shadows. Like I'm just murking.
Yeah, I was trained. I was born in this again. You know, anyone in the, he was molded by it. There you go. That's all he knows. You know, and now I guess he's learning the humanity part of it.
Yeah,
but
that's what Batman plays in. But he snaps.
He doesn't have Batman right now. He's fighting. It's Batman. It's him fighting Batman. And how scary is that going to be for him?
For Terry Mcginnis to have Batman in his ear is always an advantage. But I do think that Bruce doesn't understand Damian as well. I think that Alfred actually understands Damian better than Bruce does. There's multiple times where Alfred's like, yo, like you don't get him.
I personally believe that this fight, I do believe this would be the only fight that would end with a fatality.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
I think that Terry would end up being killed.
Yeah,
I think that at the end of the day, Damian would lose the fight, but Terry would die.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think psychologically, Damian would.
Yeah, Damian. Well, once he killed him, he would snap. He'd be like, "Oh my god."
But I think that Damian would resort back to his League of Shadows self and end up killing him because before that, Terry would figured out a way to beat him. Yeah. But if it goes to win or lose, I think that Damian's gonna beat him on some like fatality.
So, but psychologically, he's just gonna be a beaten person. Yeah.
So winner, Damian.
Damian. Well. Depends on how you look at it, but life or death, Damian.
David has too much experience killing people. Terry Mcginnis has zero experience.
Right. That's what holding him back is him being like, I can't kill this kid. I can't kill
and also this goes into what we were saying before about Batman asking him not to hurt Grayson.
Not to hurt him.
The same thing for Damian. That's his son.
Yeah, that's his son. That's his blood.
If anything, that's like the best example of that because like the fact that Bruce was like the first person to be like, you don't bring people back from the dead. And then the second he does, like, oh, bring him back from the dead. Fuck the rules.
No, it's true. You know, it's.
I think the same rules
straight
apply
up.
There.
He's got combat.
Yeah.
Yep. So Damian's walking away from this.
Terry Mcginnis is not as good as half of our sidekicks.
I think
he's close.
So he's close.
I mean,
Terry McGinnis is
we did 5 fights.
I feel.
He's
inexperienced.
And the thing is, if you throw in, we decided to eliminate characters like Stephanie Brown.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't even talk about them.
They don't
matter.
Yeah, we didn't talk about them because they're not the stronger characters.
No.
However, those he would take them.
It's
those are.
They were kind of stand-ins.
Yeah.
But I feel like Terry Mcginnis is a glorified sidekick. Batman still plays a huge role in it. I hate to say it, I really like Terry Mcginnis, but he's a glorified sidekick. I mean, Batman's still there.
See, I wouldn't call him a glorified sidekick. I'd call him a glorified puppet. That's what I'd say.
But he's not a hero right now.
Because Batman's pulling the strings.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot of factors that play into it. Terry McGinnis is thrown into the situation like the streets are in turmoil. Batman can't fulfill his role.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this kid's kind of got potential. I don't have time to train him. Here's this cool suit. Let's go do things.
Yeah, he's not ready to have a city, I feel like.
I agree with that.
On his own, he would have a big problem.
Exactly. But like I said, Dick Grayson had his city.
He gets the shit together eventually.
Season 3. No.
I agree with that, but then I think about if Damian was in the same position that Terry McGinnis was in, if it would work out, and I don't think so.
No, I don't think he could be Batman either because he's too quick to kill.
Too quick to kill him. He's a child.
Well, yeah, he's 11.
But also, I mean, if you were in the same position, you wouldn't have that.
There have been stories that Damian has matured to the age of like 19, and he still
wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, right.
He still had trouble. Rely on got some supernatural powers. Or
right. speaking of which, kind of spoiler alert-ish. Yeah. They're bringing Damian back.
Surprise!
Whoa! People die in comics?
But the big thing is, they're bringing him back with powers.
Oh,
no one knows what the powers are, but they already let out the official cover of the issue. The official cover of the issue. John will put up the official cover of the issue. I'll show it to him. It's like him doing an homage to Action Comics #1 for his first initial appearance of Superman. Oh, so he's holding the car up, the Batmobile up in the Batcave with Batman in the car, like yelling at him, like, "Put me down." Yeah. So it's really cool. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming out soon to to see how he comes back and why he has powers. But to go to the original point, I don't really necessarily think that Terry Mcginnis is a glorified puppet because if you read the Future's End. In Future's End, he's in a situation that he has to handle the whole shit himself, and he's doing pretty damn good.
But that's years later.
Yeah.
Years
right now, like
I think I feel like we're segueing into like a whole nother conversation.
No, that's not true.
I do cast the votes.
Yeah, right.
Damian or Terry.
Damian.
Yeah, that's unanimous.
Except that Terry McGinnis fucked his whole psyche up.
Yeah. So tie.
Yeah, let's call
it a tie. Can we do it a tie?
It's a draw, guys.
I feel like it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone loses
perfect.
in that fight.
Lose-lose. Somebody gets killed.
It is.
Bat Hound has nobody feeding him. Alfred said everyone loses.
The whole family is
Can I tell them about the article?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
No.
That was sort of awkward, but still. I actually have my own website, guys. So just saying.
Stuff.
You guys can check out. I actually wrote an article about this, basically detailing all of the reasons why I think that who would win versus who. Terry McGinnis versus the Sidekicks. It's on my website called BigBoyNerd.com. I'll leave a link at the bottom.
I wonder if any of your answers changed.
Yeah.
We'll see. You guys will tell him if he's a liar.
Call him out on his bullshit.
Yeah, please do.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Fraud.
Yeah.
No, but
you're a phony.
So it was 2-2 with the tie, but like I said, I think in general, Terry McGinnis is. I mean, he's great. He's cool.
Dope. He's real dope.
He's not up to par.
He just can't mess with the original.
But we're gonna be doing more. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. Comments,
please.
Comment on the page.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna be putting up more stuff, different things.
Try to get you guys become fans of other comics because we got a plethora.
Oh, absolutely.
A cornucopia.
Oh yeah, God,
of ideas.
Acropolis.
Oh my God! Here they go with this shit.
Here
they go.
That's so.
What else we got? What else we got?
A myriad.
Whoa!
So good.
So there's a bunch of stuff coming out. We're gonna be getting you guys.
Yeah. That's perfect. Oh yeah, but like the homeboy right here said, we're gonna get you guys more comic book suggestions. John, of course, is gonna get you guys more manga suggestions because he's awesome with that.
This video is so long that none of us are drunk anymore.
Yeah. I'm completely sober. So on that note, hand me another beer.
But yeah, we'll catch you guys
soon.
Next week. Soon.
Hopefully, next week would be cool.
That'd be so dope.
Ooh, Thanksgiving next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like a special Thanksgiving pot.
Pot?
All
right, so, and on that note,